The saga of Ghislaine Maxwell has gripped the world for years, embodying some of the darkest aspects of power, privilege, and justice. After years of silence behind bars, Maxwell's recent rare interview has reignited intense debate and suspicion, not just about her past crimes, but about the political forces swirling around her. At the heart of the storm now lies a deeply unsettling question: could former President Donald Trump pardon Maxwell? And if so, what does that mean for justice, accountability, and the rule of law in America? Maxwell's conviction as Jeffrey Epstein's close associate and enabler of sex trafficking was seen by many as a milestone victory for survivors of abuse. Yet, in her recent prison interview, Maxwell portrayed herself as a victim of a politically motivated trial, claiming her prosecution was unfair and hinting that powerful individuals remain hidden behind a veil of secrecy. The timing of her comments couldn't be more suspicious, right before the 2024 U.S. presidential election, a period when every word and every gesture can carry outsized political consequences. Maxwell's history is closely intertwined with high-profile figures, including Donald Trump, who once welcomed Epstein and Maxwell into his social circles at Mar-a-Lago. This connection, coupled with Maxwell's subtle praise for Trump's fairness during the interview, has fueled a whirlwind of speculation. Is Maxwell positioning herself for a pardon? And is Trump signaling readiness to grant clemency as part of his political strategy? Legal experts warn that a pardon in Maxwell's case could be devastating, not just for survivors, but for the credibility of the justice system itself. The presidential pardon power is vast and almost unchecked, and using it to shield someone convicted of such heinous crimes would set a dangerous precedent, potentially rewarding wealth, influence, and loyalty over truth and accountability. It also risks alienating a public hungry for justice and accountability, and could become a divisive topic in the 2024 campaign. Looking back, Trump's pardon record has been controversial, favoring political allies and sparking debates about whether pardons are wielded as tools of loyalty rather than justice. Maxwell's recent interview is widely interpreted as a calculated move, possibly part of a larger PR chess game designed to rally support or at least soften public perception ahead of potential clemency. As we look ahead, the stakes couldn't be higher. The 2024 election looms. Epstein's sealed files could yet reveal more names, and Maxwell's own decisions, whether to cooperate or stay silent, will shape the narrative and potentially impact the course of justice. Survivors and advocates remain vigilant, demanding accountability and transparency. Ultimately, this story is not just about Maxwell or Trump. It is about the fragile balance between power and justice in America. Can justice truly survive politics and power? That's the question this interview forces us to confront. Ghislaine Maxwell's recent prison interview has sent shockwaves through media and political circles alike. For years, Maxwell maintained a wall of silence from behind bars, but this interview breaks that silence with dramatic effect. It's not just the fact that she spoke, it's what she said, how she said it, and when. Maxwell's central claim in the interview is that her trial was unfair and politically motivated. She argues that the legal process was biased against her, and she positions herself as a scapegoat caught in a political crossfire. These assertions have immediately polarized public opinion. Some viewers, particularly her sympathizers, may feel empathy, believing she is a victim of a system bent on making an example of her. However, many others are deeply skeptical and outraged, feeling that her words are an attempt to rewrite history and evade responsibility. The timing of the interview raises eyebrows. Maxwell's comments surfaced just months before the pivotal 2024 U.S. presidential election, a period when the intersection of politics, media, and justice becomes particularly fraught. It is no coincidence that these statements come at a time when political calculations are critical and influence over public perception can have profound consequences. Maxwell also hints at the existence of powerful names who remain hidden and untouched by the justice system. This insinuation fuels long-standing suspicions about a broader conspiracy of elites protecting one another. While no new names were revealed, the mere suggestion is enough to stir speculation and renew calls for transparency. One of the most consequential aspects of Maxwell's recent interview is her nuanced mention of Donald Trump. Historically, Maxwell and Epstein were part of the same social scene that included Trump, especially in the 1990s. There are multiple photos documenting their mutual appearances at events, including Mar-a-Lago, Trump's Florida estate. Though Trump has distanced himself publicly, calling Maxwell a friend at one point and later offering only lukewarm statements, the connection remains undeniable. In her interview, Maxwell makes a subtle nod to Trump's fairness, a rare public compliment that analysts interpret as a deliberate signal rather than casual praise. Political commentators suggest this is a calculated move. Maxwell may be trying to position herself favorably within Trump's political orbit, possibly laying groundwork for a pardon. Given the high stakes and potential consequences, this perceived alignment raises serious questions about motivations and implications. The Mar-a-Lago ties and mutual acquaintances reinforce the sense that Maxwell's fate could be entwined with political calculations far beyond her personal story. This fuels speculation that her narrative is part of a broader strategy to influence public opinion and judicial outcomes. This slide raises critical questions. Is Maxwell merely reminding the public of her connections, or is she testing the waters for clemency? And how might Trump leverage this situation politically? The idea of a Trump pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell has alarmed many legal experts, survivors groups, and political analysts. The presidential pardon power in the United States is broad and largely unchecked, allowing the president to pardon almost any federal offense. If exercised in Maxwell's favor, it would be nothing short of historic and deeply controversial. Experts warn such a pardon would undermine years of legal progress for survivors of sexual abuse. It would send a message that influence, loyalty, and wealth can override justice, which could erode public trust in the legal system. This issue is already shaping up to be a hot topic in the 2024 presidential race. Candidates and voters alike will confront difficult questions about the balance between mercy, justice, and political loyalty. Victims' advocates are mobilizing, emphasizing that clemency in Maxwell's case would be a profound betrayal to survivors everywhere. They argue that no one should be above the law, no matter their connections or political importance. Moreover, such a pardon raises uncomfortable questions about whether wealth and power can buy freedom, a topic that resonates deeply in a society grappling with inequality and elite privilege. The legal fallout from such a pardon would ripple through institutions and communities, reigniting debates about the separation of powers, executive authority, and justice. Trump's history with pardons is contentious. Past clemencies have included controversial figures like Steve Bannon, Michael Flynn, and Joe Arpaio, sparking public debate about whether pardons are used as political favors rather than instruments of justice. Pardons can serve as rewards for loyalty or as leverage to silence critics and consolidate political power. Maxwell's interview, many analysts argue, fits into a calculated public relations strategy designed to soften her image, rally support, or position her for pardon. The timing and content suggest this is not merely an act of contrition or explanation, but a chess move in a broader political game. For Trump's base, pardoning Maxwell could be framed as a defiant act against the deep state or political persecution. However, this could alienate moderates and independent voters who see such a move as a blatant miscarriage of justice. This slide invites reflection on the broader question: are pardons serving justice or political theater? And what are the implications for American democracy when executive clemency is wielded as a political tool? Looking ahead, the future is uncertain but critical. The 2024 election looms, and the legal drama around Maxwell and Epstein is far from over. Epstein's files remain sealed, potentially holding explosive information that could implicate more powerful figures. Maxwell faces a choice: cooperate with investigators or continue to fight her conviction quietly. Her decisions could alter the trajectory of ongoing investigations and public perception. Meanwhile, survivors and advocates remain vigilant, demanding full transparency and accountability. They understand the stakes are not just legal, but deeply moral and societal. The unfolding story will test the resilience of the justice system and the political landscape. It forces us to ask, can the pursuit of truth survive when power and politics collide? How will public opinion shape the balance between justice and influence? Ultimately, this is not only a story about individuals, but a profound challenge to democracy itself. The coming months will reveal whether justice prevails or whether political expediency prevails.